This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Thank you for being with us today. Let's see, today's Thursday, right? So we'll have baseball tomorrow. Texas Tech takes on UC Irvine over at Rip Griffin Park. 1:30 the broadcast time, 2 o'clock first pitch. We'll also have Lubbock Cooper basketball. They take on El Paso Utio, and that'll be on 100.7 The Score. That's at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Actually, 5 o'clock.
Okay, it'll be at 5 o'clock. Okay. We just, we want people to get there early to get some popcorn and a Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you should definitely do that.
If you're going.
You should definitely do that.
But we'll start we'll crank up our microphones at 5 o'clock, okay?
5 o'clock.
That's Lubbock Cooper boys, all right? So look forward to that. And the friendships are also going to be in playoff action, as we'll get that to you as well.
The girls play at 6 o'clock in Sweetwater against Fort Worth Boswell. The boys play at 8 o'clock at Abilene Wiley against South Lake Carroll. Okay,
so the girls' game is
both on Double T 97.3.
But that's what day? Tomorrow?
Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's for the right to play, for the right to go to state, to play for a state championship.
Yeah, you were basically in the state quarterfinals right now.
Yeah. So it's really cool. So
a year ago, it would be for the right to go to state. But now just to get to the semifinals.
Just to get to the semifinals.
Which will be at some random neutral site.
Okay. So we'll look forward to that. Okay, we'll have Texas Tech basketball. The Red Raiders take on West Virginia on Saturday. That becomes a pretty big game after the other night.
No, you definitely want to bounce back, that's for certain. You don't want to start going into some sort of funk.
No tailspin or anything like that.
Yeah, and you don't want to be looking ahead to Monday. I don't think you'll be doing that, considering you lost your last game.
Yeah, I think that probably Coach McCaslin has their full attention. I would think. Full attention. We'll have that for you at 11, play-by-play at noon on Saturday. That'll be at United Supermarkets Arena. Okay. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Are the baseball players allowed to wear an insulated face mask and thin gloves? When I was coaching youth on a cold day, I noticed my pitcher was cold, so what I did, I went and got my insulated face mask and my thin gloves from work. He wore them for 2 innings before the coach from the other side complained, and they made him take them off. We won the game.
I don't know why you couldn't wear an insulated face mask.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I would think a pitcher shouldn't be allowed to wear a glove on his pitching hand.
On his pitching hand, yeah. That would probably give you some kind of...
Well, you could... there's grip there. There's the potential of...
spinning it and all those kinds of things.
Having some extra substance and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Somebody asked this question. Why play the game at all Friday, as game temps are projected to be from 31 to 36 degrees depending on the site? Why not play 2 on Saturday with temps in the 50s or 2 on Sunday with the temps in the 60s? Friday is a terrible choice for players as well as fans who have to endure the cold or can't possibly get there due to work.
Well, I would... quite honestly, I thought that Saturday would be a possibility as well. And I'm not saying that it's not. They may wake up Friday morning and feel like, it's just not going to happen. And they may have to move it to a doubleheader on Saturday, which clearly they do not want to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If it's going to be 40-ish degrees, then I think that's just cold, and they feel like if there's no precipitation and all that, then they can play. It's just going to be really cold, and it's not fun for anybody. Okay, it's not fun for anybody. It's not fun for the players or the umpires or the fans. Maybe the worst for the fans, just because they don't get to move around.
Right, the players at least get to move around. Hey, get out there and move around a little bit. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
acclimate. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So it's this time of the year, and playing baseball, that's kind of what you get.
Yeah. And it's bad on the hot dog vendor too. It makes for a cold hot dog.
Yeah, probably so.
Although you'll see how steamy it is when they open it up and go, hot dogs. And then you open it up and, man,
Yeah, I don't think they have hot dog vendors.
I know they don't. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
That they don't have somebody, some aspiring youth that's, looking to make a few extra dollars.
I'm willing to bet that you could go up there and get a tray. Yeah. And you could be the hot dog vendor.
I could.
And you could say your favorite word of a baseball game for 3 hours if you wanted to.
Sure. Hot dogs.
See?
Get your hot dogs.
We'd have to turn down the crowd, Mike.
Well, sure. But just think of all the
that would get me on the baseball broadcast, though.
It sure would. Sure would. Yes, sure would. It'd be dueling banjos down there between Chuck the hot dog vendor and the super fan as to which one gets on the radio broadcast more.
Hot dogs. That could be that's my future retirement job. I would need somebody though to carry the apparatus, because those things look heavy.
They do look heavy.
When you're carrying them. But I could be the cash guy. Exchange the money.
Well, just
take
think
the
about
debit
it this
card.
way, Chuck. If you were carrying it around, you wouldn't have to go to the gym and deal with the sweaty guy.
That's right. You get your workout in that way.
I do have an update
Think of
on
all the stairs you could climb.
I do have an update on the sweaty guy. Apparently,
Sweaty Guy update brought to you by the Morning Drive. Do you also have a Carson Wentz update?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. Apparently, he moved to another gym the other day because one of my other bosses complained to me that he had moved to his gym from my gym.
It's the same guy?
Same guy.
How do you know it's the same? How does he know it's the same?
Because he used to work out at my gym. He just moved to a different gym because it's more convenient to downtown.
Okay, so your coworker that is now working out in the same gym, has he seen the picture of the sweaty guy? How do we know it's the exact same sweaty guy?
Because he and I talked about him, knowing that he knew exactly who I was talking about when I was talking about it. And so he shared the same frustration as I did, and he had actually had similar conversation as I did. And so he moved to a different gym within the same gym company to a different location. And he told me yesterday that the sweaty guy showed up at his place, and he was just like beside himself. Because the guy, it was pools of sweat on his locker room floor too. Just, again, pools of sweat, not just droplets, pools of sweat.
Oh, these people.
So if he's moved from my gym, I'm really happy about that.
Well, you feel good about yourself. You
bullied him out of
your gym.
Bullied him out of my gym. That's right. Well, he wouldn't listen to me. Wouldn't have conversation with me. Wouldn't show any kind of.
That's where the truth lies, right there.
Courtesy.
He wouldn't talk to you.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is February the 20th, 2025. Here is Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
Morning, gentlemen. We're going to start in 1929. Boston Red Sox announced that they will play Sunday Major League Baseball games at Braves Field because Fenway Park is located too close to a church. How times have changed.
No kidding.
Oh, that's
for
funny.
when we couldn't play games on Sunday because of church, and then it was too close to a church, to now if you talk to baseball fans, they are cathedrals.
Yeah.
Like Fenway Park, that they couldn't play in on this day in 1929. 1953, U.S. Court of Appeals rules that organized baseball is a sport and not a business, affirming the 25-year-old Supreme Court ruling. And boy, are they going to do everything they can to keep that.
No kidding. It's like I saw something the other day, and Jeff, you might be able to help me with the history on this. Apparently, during the Nixon White House, he was frustrated because he couldn't watch the Redskins play, and so he granted the NFL antitrust in exchange for lifting the blackout league-wide.
Well, I know they were still
benefited a lot of
blacking out
people.
games when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. Like the Oilers, there was always a threat that the Oilers were going to get blacked out.
I think it was more, even if the game was sold out, it was blacked out in those days.
Well, if that's what, yeah, because you had to sell out the game in order for it not to be blacked out. Huh. 1963, future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Willie Mays becomes the highest paid player in Major League Baseball. Are y'all sitting down?
$100,000?
He signed a $100,000 contract to play with the San Francisco Giants. $100,000? Are you kidding me for Willie Mays? How is anybody ever going to make that much money?
Seems like a bargain.
1982, New York Islanders win the NHL record 15th straight game by beating the Colorado Avalanche 3-2. I guess this is still the Rockies at this point, not the Avalanche. 3-2 at Veterans Memorial Coliseum.
Yeah, crazy how they were the Rockies, and then now they have the baseball Rockies.
Yep.
I didn't know that. So the Rockies used to be a hockey team?
Yes.
Yeah. They moved the Kansas City franchise. They were the Scouts. They moved it because they just were awful and terrible in attendance. They moved it to Denver, and they were the Rockies.
Okay.
And then that franchise eventually, I believe that franchise moved as well.
1997. San Francisco Giants back signing players for an all-time record. $22.9 million on a 2-year deal for
Barry Bonds?
Barry Bonds. Correct. So it's a good day to be a Giant player getting a good contract, apparently.
His godfather was Willie Mays. Right.
And on this day in 2021, boy, you could use her. Texas Tech Lady Raider basketball team took its second overtime win of the season, defeating Kansas 98-98 on Senior Day. Lady Raiders were led by senior Vivian Gray, as she set a career-high best of 38 points.
You could use that.
You could use that right now.
You could use half of Vivian Gray right now.
No, I'd rather have the whole person.
I know, but I mean, like 19 points would be something.
Happy National Cherry Pie Day.
Oh, man.
So don't have a warrant.
Nice.
The group that sang She's My Cherry Pie is called Warrant. Like their group is called Warrant.
I am unfamiliar with song. I'm unfamiliar with group.
I guarantee you know the song. It was on every 80s retro CD that was on TV for like years.
Okay. And again, I'm terrible at song title and artist.
Half of the first half of the best baseball duo we've ever had. Dylan Dushek celebrating a birthday today. He's 30 years old. It was Duchetter. He was the first half.
No, I understand. I was just trying to I was waiting for you to tell me who.
How old is Dylan?
30. 30.
30. All right.
And Jarrett Culver is 26. We were talking about him yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Rihanna 37, Miles Teller, who is Rooster from Top Gun 2, is 38. Cindy Crawford 59, she still got it. Charles Barkley 62, Mitch McConnell 83, Stephon Marbury 48, Justin Verlander 42, and everybody's favorite young Ranger who didn't do anything, Jerkson Profar, is 32.
He's done quite well for himself since he left the Rangers.
Yeah, he's an all-star.
Yeah.
Right, but he was supposed to be like MVP. Like great things can be expected for him, and
that was the guy that you wouldn't let go of to get David Price in his prime.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on this day in 1942, gentlemen, do you know what it takes to become a fighter pilot ace?
You have to shoot people down.
Do you know the number?
Okay. The number off the top of my head is 21, but that seems high.
I think the record is somewhere in the Well, World War II, the record was somewhere in the 30s, but World War I, it was in the in Europe, it was in the 20s. However, the very first American pilot to shoot down 5 enemy aircraft is Lieutenant Edward O'Hare. Took off from the aircraft carrier Lexington in a raid against Japanese position, and minutes later became America's first World War II flying ace, shooting down 5 enemy bombers. Piloting his F-4F Wildcat. In a mere 4 minutes, O'Hare shot down 5 Japanese G4M1 Betty bombers, bringing the swift end to the Japanese attack and earning O'Hare the distinguished ace.
Okay, so there's a number in place for you to get the ace
5
title. You have to shoot down at least 5 planes.
And he did 5 in a flight.
That's pretty good.
O'Hare was awarded the Medal of Honor for his bravery and excellent aim. In 1949, Chicago officials named O'Hare International Airport after him. Why they would curse him with all of the construction at O'Hare Airport, I do not know. But that is this day in sports history.
Wow, did not know that. Okay.
That is. Now, you ready for the big twist?
Sure.
What's Chicago's biggest rival city? St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Guess where O'Hare was born?
St. Louis.
In St. Louis, Missouri.
I would think that, I don't know that's, you mean rival in terms of baseball, or you think rival just in general in terms of cities?
As in baseball, and like anytime that the two teams have a sport, that's Dallas, Philly. Chicago, St. Louis.
Yeah.
That's where they go.
Yeah, see, I think...
I mean, initially in my mind, it came to Green Bay because of the Bears. And
yes,
Packers.
Right. That's the
but
longevity.
That's just thinking
yeah.
NFL.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that kind of strikes me as too is that St. Louis might have little man syndrome to Chicago.
I'm sure there's some of that.
Like, yeah.
But there's a lot of cities that
have little man syndrome.
To Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Hey, good job on longevity.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You did it right there.
I
almost want to have it on a hotkey now.
Yeah.
Could I get a ta-da?
I mean, you can, sure.
Thank you.
Look at that. You can teach old dogs new tricks.
It just kind of came out too.
And you nailed it.
I nailed it.
Way to go.
I wasn't even trying. Longevity. Right.
That is this day in sports history.
You told us we were going to have more positive things today.
Right.
I mean, that's a good one right there.
There we go. College basketball last night. Auburn beat Arkansas 67-60. That was a real opportunity for Arkansas to kind of try to play themselves back into relevancy. Number 4, Alabama loses at Missouri last night. Missouri, number 15 in the country, 110-98. That's a big win for them. That's 2 straight losses for Alabama. St. John's, man, this is quite the story. With Rick Pitino taking over St. John's, because they were nothing, Jamie.
Yeah, just forgotten in college basketball.
They were. I mean, they would be like, okay, well, God, wasn't it great when St. John's made it to the Final Four? Oh, what year was that? Oh, that was like 1984. And now he's brought him back from the dead. And even though he said this is my last job, he's rumored to be, in the hunt at Indiana. I think he'd be foolish to do that, but he's 72 years old and he's still got it. And they're 23-4.
And now for a morning drive update.
Who's our biggest St. Louis fan here?
Mike Gustafson.
From Dr. Mike Gustafson. O'Hare's dad kept books for Capone and was later murdered in a gangster ambush.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you don't get this kind of information everywhere, folks. You get it on the morning drive and you get it on Tech Talk. Thank you, Mike. 6:55. Is this the cherry pie song?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, can't fool me every day, but you can fool me some days. But that was an obvious one right there.
Challenge accepted.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent. I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us. Trevor is with us today, and he's learning the ropes, and Jeff McGuire is teaching those ropes. I think he's a good teacher. He's very thorough.
I would agree with that.
Jeff McGuire is very thorough. We will have Red Raider baseball on the air for you tomorrow at 1:30, 2 o'clock first pitch. It is the home opener against UC Irvine. We'll get more on that throughout the morning and mañana as well. So look forward to some baseball tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll have Lubbock Cooper basketball tomorrow as well, along with Friendship girls and boys basketball. So we got a busy day tomorrow, plus busy day on Saturday. All right. There's no shortage of opinions for the college football playoff, and some opinions are worth more than others. So the Big Ten and the SEC, basically, they get to make all the rules starting with the new TV contract. That was kind of how it all worked out, okay?
Okay.
But what they want for next year, Jamie, is they want, and this seems simple, but it becomes complex for the Big 12 and the ACC and the Group of Five commissioners. They want to change the seeding and how the seeding is done, starting with the 2025 season. Basically, they want to eliminate the first-round buys, and they want to that grants first-round buys to the top 4 seeds to the 4 highest-ranked conference champions. Okay.
Okay.
So they want to, and on the surface, I think we'd all agree with that, right?
Yep, I do.
Okay, so here's what that comes with. The problem for the Big 12, the ACC, and the Group of Five commissioners, and this has to be unanimous, plus Notre Dame, to agree to this, because this is the last year of the original television contract with ESPN, is that if they do that, then they give up their guarantee of an $8 million reward that is earned by a team that automatically advances into the quarterfinals. Commissioner Brett Yormark from the Big 12 says this: I do not have the appetite to give up any financial reward that comes with a bye. Jim Phillips, who's the ACC commissioner, referred to similar professional playoff formats that use an automatic bye structures that wins divisions or conferences, such as the NFL. It's not as if this system is foreign. This shouldn't be used as a convenient rationale. It does deserve a review. We should talk about how it went, but it's not some exotic structure. And then the Mountain West commissioner, Gloria Navarez, she says the changes after 1 year seem a bit quick. And her conference team, Boise State, was a benefactor of a bye last year.
Yep.
Okay, so are you for risking the $8 million to get it right? Or is this kind of what it is?
Are you asking me to answer this as a fan of the Big 12? Or are you asking me to answer this as a fan of what I think should be the right thing for the best entertainment purposes and all the above?
Is it two different answers?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I'm in agreement with you. Because if
I'm worried about the Big 12, I'm saying don't agree to this.
Right.
If I'm trying to get it right and get the best four teams, if there's going to be buys, the best four teams, then I don't think there should be guaranteed for conference champions.
Yeah.
Okay. I also think that it will ultimately make better matchups early if you give the best four, not the best four conference champions, but the best four, the buys.
Yeah.
You're going to have better matchups early on. Going to make those games more entertaining. So, I mean, overall, put the top four teams with the buys.
And then the follow-up that I have in my mind here is that, never make a concession without getting one in return. Could you make this concession to the Big Ten and the SEC with the caveat of going, okay, we're going to do this, but you're not going to just automatically give four automatic bids to the Big Ten and the SEC moving forward with the new TV deal next year, and essentially having, basically one at-large bid is kind of how it all work out.
I'm a fan of that.
Because
I don't want guarantees of anything. Again, I want them to rank the teams and put the best 12 in there.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this.
If the Big 12 conference champion is not good enough to be in the top 12, then I don't think they should be in there.
Right. I'm in agreement with you. I mean, I certainly understand Brett Yormark's position of not wanting to just, $8 million. Especially when every school in every conference at every level is trying to scrap together every dollar they can so that they can pay their employees to play.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, it's huge ramifications. And look, I would have to do probably more research. I don't understand why they gave up what they gave up to the SEC and the Big Ten in terms of letting them make all the rules. But I guess they didn't have a choice.
Didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah. Didn't have much of a choice. It's just the whole thing. I'm with you. I would like to see a 16-team playoff. Okay, no buys. One plays 16, two plays blah blah blah. However it all goes, and I'd like to see at least. I think the first two rounds be at the higher ranked team's home stadium.
Yeah, I would definitely be okay if it was just one. I would definitely be all right with that.
Because one of the things that, and this is just, I mean, you're not going to be able to ever kind of go back to the way it was, but I just really felt like that when you got into those semifinal games, those bowl games, it was just the name of that game. I mean, the Cotton Bowl was diminished in terms of what the tradition and the history of the Cotton Bowl was. It was overshadowed by the fact that it was the semifinal game.
So how are you going to change that?
I don't know that you can. Okay, I don't know that you can.
Yeah,
but
so,
I think
so you say, hey, Cotton Bowl, don't be in the college football playoff. Just have a regular Cotton Bowl.
Yes.
Well, if you do that, you're going to pick lesser teams.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
They would much rather be in the playoff.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just it is. I'd almost prefer that they just not call it the Cotton Bowl.
Getting this conversation again. Why does it matter?
I don't know, because I just feel like if you can't do it right, then don't do it at all. I mean,
the Cotton Bowl wants to exist, and you'd rather be in a game that has big implications of the national championship and all that.
No, just don't call it the Cotton Bowl. Just call it the national semifinal.
Well, then the Cotton Bowl again. Cotton Bowl wants to exist.
I know. I didn't say it was rational or reasonable. Okay, I didn't say any of that. It just was diminished and castrated.
And
really,
you can't change that now.
I know. Yeah.
So I mean, except that you're the semifinal at the Cotton Bowl, rather than here you're the Cotton Bowl with Northern Illinois facing off with South Dakota State.
I know that'd be terrible. And the Kilgore Rangerettes probably wouldn't even go to that thing. They'd be like, Northern Illinois?
Speaking of overrated.
What are we talking about here?
Patchy Bells are way better.
Patchy Bells, right. But unfortunately for the Apache Bells, everybody knows the Kilgore Rangerettes. I mean, everybody.
Yeah.
Even kids in, the West Coast, up north in Detroit,
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I mean, I knew who the Kilgore Rangerettes were in high school. I didn't know where Tyler was, but I knew what the Kilgore Rangerettes were.
You know where Kilgore is?
Nope. It's in that vicinity, right?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, it's in the suburbs, right? Tyler?
I wouldn't call it suburbs.
Okay. So anyway, I would be for this 16 teams, no automatic seeding for the 4 teams for the Big Ten and the SEC, and just the best 16 get in. I mean, I just don't understand why it cannot be that simple, but it's business, and so it's never going to be that simple.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, we're talking Big 12 basketball here. There are 8 teams in the conference who have a better than 500 record in Big 12 games. Houston, Arizona, Iowa State, Texas Tech, BYU, Kansas, Baylor, and TCU. Of the remaining 8 teams, if you are the Red Raiders, which of those 8 do you not want to see in the Big 12 tournament? Which of the 8 scares you the most?
That have a above 500 record?
Oh, below.
Below 500 record.
The bottom 8 we're looking at.
The bottom 8. Okay. How many do you want me to give you?
1.
Just 1. Oh,
Which team scares you the most?
Which team scares me the most? Man, you can think I'm nuts. I mean, they've beaten you once. Okay, so since they've beaten you once, I feel like that when you play them again, you'll have extra motivation because they beat you once. But their talent scares me because I just think UCF is a team I don't want to face. Okay. I mean, they're 4-11. I get it, but man,
clearly they don't scare you. You're not scared, or you do not scare them. Goodness, Jamie, spit it out. I mean, they've beaten you 2 out of 3, right?
Yeah.
So far in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So they're not intimidated by the logo or anything like that of Texas Tech.
And they will have everything to play for once you get to the Big 12 because
all of them will.
You know, all those teams below, right? It'd be do or die. I think of the teams that are below 500, the team that has the best chance to get themselves into the tournament without winning the Big 12 tournament is West Virginia. Okay.
Okay. Trevor?
Hello, gentlemen. I think, for me personally, I think it's probably just going to be West Virginia. I mean, it's a pretty basic answer, but to be honest, I don't really have much else to go off. I'll be honest, I don't really watch that much college men's basketball aside from Texas Tech. I couldn't give you an educated answer.
We really don't look for educated answers on this program.
You guys have more experience than me. That's all I'm telling you about.
All right, Jeff, are you wanting to answer?
Yeah, I mean, the My first initial reaction is
Lonnie
UCF because you've lost to them already, and it would be embarrassing to lose twice. But I'm going to go with Utah, that I would prefer not to see them in the Big 12 tournament.
Okay.
I would prefer not to see them at all. So,
I feel like Utah's playing a lot better than they were when we played them the first time. I also think the West Virginia answer by Trevor is, to me, I just haven't seen West Virginia that much, and we know they've had some big wins, but we've also seen them with some bad losses. But my answer is Kansas State.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think Kansas State is a team that is playing better than they were previously. Maybe they've leveled out a little bit of late. But I think they're playing a lot better than they were when you played them the first time this season. There's a bunch of talent there. So if they get things clicking, I mean, it doesn't feel like to me that, in a Big 12 tournament that they would just absolutely, it would shock you if they made a run and won 3 games or something like that in the Big 12 tournament. So Kansas State's the team that I would say I fear the most of the bottom 8.
Yeah, no, it's.
You don't think though that
You're not wrong on that.
whatever you said about UCF, about them being motivated because they know they can beat you and all that, you don't think the Red Raiders would be
No, I think
wide awake, ready for them?
Oh no, absolutely. That's why I hesitated on saying UCF. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But I just think that they're just, I don't know. They just have impressed me every time I've seen them. Even though I've seen them play it live once and then on television, but they just seem like they have the ability to light it up a little bit. So we'll see. Of the teams that are 8 and 7, okay, which teams do you think are in danger of not making the tournament? Do you think Baylor or Kansas at all are in danger of not making the tournament?
I think TCU is the only one.
Is the only one?
Yeah.
Okay. Baylor is 16 and 10, and they're 8 and 7 in Big 12 place, as is TCU. TCU is 15 and 11. Kansas is 17 and 9. I feel like that's a broken team. I feel like that's a team that is reeling. In fact, I'm almost beginning to wonder if Bill Self does a kind of Tony Bennett and says, "I'm done."
I think he
just because of the NIL and the frustration and I know it's laughable.
Yeah, because Bill Self he can't handle paying players. This is just too much.
No, I think
I don't like doing this legally. This is so boring.
I think
it was so much more enjoyable when we did it illegally.
Yes, right.
I'm Bill Self. I don't like NIL. I can't stand paying players. Oh my goodness.
Well, I don't know that he can't stand paying. I think it's the frustration of not being able to get the ones that he wants, and so as a result of that, he's going to say, "You know what? I'm done."
If we're not the only one that can pay him, I'm out.
Yes.
I don't like every other school getting to pay him too. I quit.
I'm frustrated. I'm done.
Oh, man, I didn't know that circus was coming to town today. We got jokes.
I thought you'd like that. Somebody says he can't handle everyone else getting to do it. No, I think there's some truth to that. I mean, they just got absolutely smoked in their last game, and they lost to Utah. I mean, they've lost 3 of their last 4.
I just don't think they're as talented as they usually
4
are.
of their last 6, yeah, because the other teams are able to pay for players too now.
He might need to work a little bit harder on the whole recruiting thing.
Yeah, they might, and the motivation thing too. Maybe take some things away from them. Trevor says, yes. Dang, heck yeah, I found my new favorite Double T 97.3 guy. Go, Trevor. Big work happening.
All right.
Okay.
We always need new guys.
This, somebody says this, I fear us the most. Which team will show up?
That's not positive.
No.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
This morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, with Jeff McGuire and Jamie Lent. I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us today here on the Morning Drive. We will have the end of the bench an hour from now on 100.7 The Score. Bottom line at noon. And then don't forget Dan Patrick's show today from 9 to noon. And then The Herd with Colin Cowherd today from noon to 3. Everybody's on vacation this week, so it's a calamity of hosts. Okay. Your normal, and I think the two pros and a cup of Joe guys are on instead of Herd this week. Jonas Knox, he is probably not your cup of tea, but I'm
fine with him.
I like his sarcasm. I think he's got just a different kind of wit to him. Okay. Mm-hmm. I really regret when those guys, when Brady Quinn was in town, not getting over to the Fox Sports set, and I would have loved to have met him, and just had a conversation with him. Jonas Knox, in his early days, when he was, I think, in like high school or college, was Chuck E. Cheese at Chuck E. Cheese. He was the mouse. He was the mouse. Yeah, he was the mouse. He was the mouse. They give him he and LeVar Arrington give him a hard time about that. All right, we'll have baseball on the air for you tomorrow as Texas Tech takes on UC Irvine. This ain't Incarnate Word you're playing this weekend. They're a good baseball team.
Yeah, not a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. They've got a ranked win already this year over Nebraska. They're 2-2. They lost a midweek game to USC this week. They lost a 1-run game to 16th ranked Vanderbilt. So I mean they've scheduled tough as well. It's a team that's been to Omaha a couple times. They were in a regional final last year in the Corvallis Regional. So they got a Team USA guy that plays first base for them. He didn't play this past weekend. Apparently a little bit dinged up, so don't know if he'll be back this weekend or not. But, yeah, this is by no stretch of the imagination is this, man, we got this one. We'll be good after coming home and we get these 3 easy wins, and then we'll be right back on track. Not happening. This is a team that's good enough to beat you even here at home.
So just on surface, I know you want to see wins, and that's obvious. But what do you want to see?
And that's the most important thing at this point, right? Because you can talk all day long about, I want to see you play cleaner baseball, and you want to see you hit a little bit better and all that. But sooner or later, and you understand you're playing this tough schedule to get the RPI points, and even going on the road and losing at Chapel Hill, you got plenty of RPI points and all that good stuff. And you're scheduling these home games against another ranked team in UC Irvine. They're in the top 25 and all that kind of stuff. You're scheduling, but you got to win some of them too. You got to put some wins together. So that's first and foremost. And I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I'm just to say the winning matters, right? You got to win some games.
Yeah, and so we can, like you said, you can, because I was expecting you to say, well, you need to play cleaner baseball. You need to,
and you do
make defensive plays and not give up the extra outs.
Make the simple plays, and that series last weekend could have been a little bit different. I don't know if it for certain that it would have, but it would have absolutely felt a little bit differently. And that's to start with what you want to do. You ended up with 4 errors last weekend, and I think all 4 of them cost you unearned runs.
Yeah.
So how about not give up any unearned runs this weekend? How about that?
Right.
You're going to have errors every once in a while. It happens, but let's not make them a key spot.
But I think the other thing too is there's got to be a confidence boost too when you have those balls that come hard at you, and whether they skip at you or whatever, and you make the play. That has to help your mindset, right?
For
moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Because the last thing that you want is that in the back of your mind, or even in your teammates' back of your teammates' mind, or even your coach's mind that, all right, here's a ground ball to Jamie, is you'll be able to get it, right?
Stop olaying it, Jamie. Get in front of the ball.
Get in front of the ball. It's like
was the king of the Olay.
I doubt that.
Yeah, I wasn't throwing my body on the line too much.
Too much, but I mean, in also, I think for your pitchers too, that confidence that defense behind you is gonna back you up, so that you don't feel like you have to make the quote perfect pitch, right?
Sure.
All of those things.
I don't think it got to the point where that was the case last weekend for the Red Raiders. I don't think that was the case. I just think that, I mean, again, and I say that because I don't feel like the free passes were a major problem for you last weekend. Really, it was a problem in the first inning of the third game, and that was really it. Yeah,
but it just felt like that. Just in listening, I mean, I'm listening to the games as I'm driving around town, and hearing the sharp hit ball to second. I'm like, and then it gets by him. I'm like, oh my god, here we go again.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm
absolutely.
thinking that is I would call myself an avid baseball radio listener. You would maybe classify me as a casual baseball fan, but I'm with you a lot. I mean, I'm with you more than you know. Whether I'm in my car or my backyard or just sitting there in my lazy boy falling asleep in my chair.
I just think it's really difficult when the situation that you just mentioned, a hard hit ball to second base, and all of a sudden it's in center field, and you got first and second with nobody out, and you're a pitcher saying, man, I need a ground ball here. And you get the ground ball perfectly. And instead of it being runner at third with nobody out, it's run in, runners at first and third, and nobody out.
Yeah.
It completely changes things. And that pitcher has to, you want to talk about mental fortitude there, to be able to forget about your teammate messing up. Forget about, man, I could have been out of this situation, and instead you're thinking, good gosh, and we still don't have any outs. That's got to be difficult.
So on surface, and you may not know enough yet about your pitching versus their pitching, but on surface, does it look like this is a team that you should be able to, I don't know what the word dominate maybe is too much, but that you should be able to control from a hitting standpoint?
It's probably too early to tell.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't go deep with their starters either last weekend, just because early season, all that good stuff. But they played in Arizona, so they had better weather than the Red Raiders did in Chapel Hill. But I think you're hitting in your home ballpark where you feel more comfortable. You're not facing the top pitching staff in the country like you did last weekend. I'd like to think you'll see your offense get going a little bit more.
We're acclimated to good pitching now, just like we're acclimated to cold weather.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.